Hi guys. Um, Hi YouTube and hi X, Twitter, formerly Twitter. It's my first time going live on Twitter, and with it being DV Awareness Month, I have had several of my support team ask me to please make sure to share my testimony as a survivor of DV and SRA and trafficking. I'm in a lot of pain because I just finally started a job after having my back broken twice and all this stuff. So I've been through a lot, and degenerative bone disease and stuff, and I haven't been able to work in like 6 years. So I just started it, my first job in 6 years. So I'm in a lot of pain today. You'll have to bear with me. Anyway, so a particular couple of people in my support team have really encouraged me a lot this month and begged me if I can find the courage to share my testimony about domestic violence survival. I'm also on X right now, just so you guys know, if you know anybody on there. I'm learning to use that platform. Hi guys, thank you for joining on YouTube, and anyone that joins on X, hi. I don't have any followers yet on there, really. I just know that that's where the Lord wanted me now, and so I'm going to be working with that platform as well. So I didn't know that they made another awareness month for something, and apparently October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And I do have a tumultuous testimony. It's rough, but people like Allie Carter finally coming out and speaking, like she's been speaking up for 4 or 5 years, and I've seen a lot of her stuff before, and I thought, it really hit me in the heart, because there's a lot of what she says about what happened to her when she was being trafficked with the whole Sean Combs stuff and all that. That is exactly what I have tried to tell people the truth about, like when I was trafficked around the Southwest and Southeast coast of Florida and up the East Coast. And also being, in ritual abuse and stuff, and raised in the occult and in the coven and stuff. And there's a lot of stuff that she says that has always lined up with what I experienced as well, and what I've been trying to tell people. And so many people they block you out. They don't want to hear it. It's too much for them, and it sounds too unbelievable, or like the few remaining living family members I have, they're a part of the problem. And so, hi, Stephen. Oh, good. I'm glad you see me. I'm on X as well, Stephen. I'm learning to use it. It's my first live on there. So I want to just immediately go into things particularly that she's talked about that so many people have brushed off that I said, or couldn't stand to hear it, or would be like, wow, that's a lot, and just like ignore it because they thought it wasn't true. It's just so, far out there, and it's so intense and so graphic that they didn't want to believe it and they didn't want to hear it. And that's okay. I mean, I don't just tell everybody my testimony, but we're talking about like when I'm doing live videos or sharing my testimony places, and there's people that will literally like have to excuse themselves and leave because they either don't believe it or it's too much for them, or reading my book or listening to a live and they're like, no, I can't do it. Even people that have known me for decades since school, who never realized what was happening to me behind closed doors, and why I was such a weirdo, why I was so weird in school. And hi guys on X, thank you for joining. If there's any way you can please share this. I know that the Lord wants me to be on this platform now as well, and I got you guys on YouTube. If you could please share it. It's really important that people hear this and know that it's the truth. Allie, I am so grateful, has had the courage to expose the same stuff. And albeit I was never on that coast of the nation, right, in California and stuff with all those Hollywood type stars, I have screamed at the top of my lungs that The people that would order, teenage girl or things like that when I was being trafficked and stuff, or whatever the situation was for fetishes and stuff, throughout my older teen years, early 20s, right before I went really far off the deep end. Um, X won't let you comment. Maybe because I'm so new on there, Stephen. Is it able to be shared at all? Oh, it says something about scroll for comments. So I don't know if maybe there's a way I can turn on the chat. No, it's got the chat. I don't know why. Okay, so Allie has talked about things like the way people put in orders and ask for specific orders, like boy, girl, black, white, tainted, not tainted, virgin or not, and things like that. And talked about the, like house parties, and they would have like the room. And I've tried to tell people about this because in Daytona, there's several of those. And I was trafficked through a lot of these types of houses where they would have like the swinger section for married couples that want to do swinger stuff. In the swinger section, it's just past that where they ask for like a teenage girl or a teenage boy or a little boy or a little girl. And they pay to go in there. The married couples go in there. And the room that you pay to go in and have to prove who you are to go in and watch CP on the big screen. It's like a big theater room. Things like that. There's the transformer rooms where they're, the cross-dressing, and they do their fetish stuff, like fetish rooms and stuff. And I was trafficked through a lot of those. And I was shunned and mocked and ignored for years because people just couldn't believe it. They couldn't believe it. Or, they were involved and they didn't want to acknowledge it. Who knows why? But all I know is that I was, my head was shoved down below the water for years because I tried. And the people that were doing these orders, like one of my first orders that they made me go on, right? When I was like 16, almost 17, ended up being my weight training coach from school, right? From high school. And he said, "Oh, Bulla, you, man, I didn't know I was going to get you. I've been wanting a PC since 8th grade. And what do? You're not allowed to like resist because you understand what's going to happen and you just have to do it." There were famous people, the judges, teachers from schools, daycare owners, doctors, male and female, political people and stuff. It's not a joke. This is not outlandish. It's not made up. You can't make this stuff up. And I've been stifled for years when I tried to tell the truth about it. And someone like Allie Carter has finally given us a voice because people are realizing with all of the arrests being made and all this stuff coming out that we weren't lying. And yes, they put things on your skin, like the whole thing with the baby oil, and you don't know what's happening. They pump you full of different mind-altering substances. So you're like literally like laughing and people think, oh, well, they must have liked it. No. I don't even remember some of those times. And the whole thing with the party favors. Thank you, Laura. When she talks about the party favors when the children are put on tables right in the middle of the party and you're a party favor and they're like test driving you. I remember when the strip club owners from Fantasies on the Beach in Fort Myers were on, he took me and I was extremely intoxicated. I was barely not even 17. And no, she's not. I'm not. So they took me to this bar in Fort Lauderdale, right after hours, of course, for these rich, highfalutin old men that, ran a lot of the stuff. And, my family was, Freemasons, Eastern Stars, occult. I was raised in the occult. And so they knew me. They knew my my granddaddy. And then my grandparents had left those clubs, right? But I know about the Shriners with the high potentate. I know about the Grand Wizards. I know about those people. They helped me get a free abortion at 21 because I had gotten pregnant, through promiscuity. And because I was just so lost, I didn't know any better. And they said, you just tell them that you got raped and we'll make sure it gets taken care of. And they took me to a completely different city. And I knew it was a ritual abortion. And I've never been able to live it down. I've repented for years, but I can never forget it. Even when they did an ultrasound, and they're never supposed to do that. And I saw this baby in my body. And I said, turn that off. What are you doing? Because I wasn't like everybody else. I still had a heart. And I knew I killed a baby, and I never was able to live with myself for that. So when I got introduced to the harder drugs and I had access to them, I delved very deep into it because the pain was so intense. So Ron took me to this bar, right? And he put me on the bar as a party favor. And the stuff after that was kind of blurry because they wanted me to drink, this particular water, and I had to drink it. And I don't really remember a whole lot of it, but I remember them I was a party favor that night. I was a party favor on many occasions, and Allie is not lying. And I've been trying to talk about this for years. I've been in CPTSD counseling for 2 years now since I discovered that I have CPTSD from a lifetime of this abuse. I'm sorry, I can't even compose myself. I didn't even want to do this video, but I want to make sure people know that she's not lying. I will never be able to be a normal, whole person after what's been done to me, the glass bottles in my private areas and damage that's been done to me. I've been saved 15 years, and God just showed me that I was not made for that, and that I have a choice, and that I can be free. And He set me free. And when my abusive, narcissistic husband passed away in January, yes, it was terrible and sad the way it ended. I didn't want it to end that way. But it was the last chain to bound me. And for the first time in my life, having no contact for several years now with my extremely abusive mother, being free of ritual abuse, being free of drugs, and now being fully free of anyone abusive around me. It's the first time I've ever known any kind of peace. It's the first time I didn't have to be afraid to fall asleep or afraid to wake up to what I was going to wake up to. Don't ignore somebody that's trying to tell you. Don't ignore these men and women and children that are trying to speak up. These are not outlandish lies. These are not stretched truths. It's reality. Right in your face. Knocked out behind the wheel of my car, domestic violence situation by my ex. I went through a palm tree in a brick house. And my little girl, my youngest, we just got a tour of the fire station for her homeschool fire safety stuff, right? And they're showing her the jaws of life. And when they turned it on, I went into a flashback from the fire department rushing up and then walking to my car that day because they thought they were walking up to a dead body. And then I suddenly screamed. I was blacking out from the pain and I had blacked out. And then I screamed and they realized I was alive and they started the jaws of life. And they had to dismantle the whole car from around me and then airlift me out with the life flight and get me to the hospital. They just removed that rod from my femur. I have it upstairs. 20 years of trauma came out with it when they removed it. And hi, winging it, thank you. Yes, please. If somebody is trying to speak up, please help them. Please believe them. Please. Nobody would hear me. They tried to tell me I was all these different things. I was deemed clinically insane by the state of Florida for years and pumped full of so much stuff. All it did was make me more far out there. I was so broken. By the time God was able to finally convince me to turn to him instead of witchcraft and Satan, I was a satanic worshiper because I was raised in a cult, and I became a witch, and a very avid one. And I was able to harness some serious powers of hell. And I thought, maybe this is my way to achieve the vendetta. Maybe this is the way that I can get back, because I hated everyone. And I was so wounded. It hurt people, and I wanted to hurt everyone. So somebody could know the kind of pain that I felt, because nobody would listen. Nobody would help me. I was so alone for so long, and I had no idea that God was right there with me. He made himself very clear on several occasions, visions, dreams, very, very real. And I knew he was real, but I hated him because I was so abused. And I didn't understand why someone that they say is such a good God would ever let that happen. But I understand now, and I have for several years now, that it was for such a time as this, like Allie Carter, to give a voice to the voiceless, to the ones who are still there, the children that are still. Do you understand that there are 80,000 just in Texas? Can you just put that into perspective for the entire country? That's millions. And then the world, that's at least 1 billion children still in bondage, still somewhere that we need to help and find. Do you know the amount of adults that even survived it at all, male and female, that are damaged like me and damaged like Allie? This is not a joke. I've had Rottweilers sicked on me twice. I have the scars all over my body. Anyone who's seen me wearing shorts has seen the deep scars from where they ripped me apart. I shouldn't even be here right now. Do you know how many times I tried to unalive myself? So many times, because it was so painful. Stephen, is it possible that you can block the John guy? Yeah, I don't know who that is, and he's making inappropriate comments, and this is exactly what why. I don't know how to do this, guys. This is really bad. Hold on, guys. I'm trying to figure out how to report it and get him off of here. It's really disgusting. Okay, guys. Bear with me, guys. This is really gross. That's the kind of people that try to jump in and, hurt people. Hold on, guys. I'm just deleting those yucky comments because that's just inappropriate. Wait a minute. So gross, guys. Yes, we rebuke the accuser of the brethren. We bind those mocking spirits and cast them right back down to the pits of hell. We refuse to receive that assignment against this message, God. Thank you, Lord, that you protect this. Thank you, Stephen. Thank you, Stephen. Oh, God. We just release forgiveness, Lord. There's so many things that people don't realize are happening right in front of them. Daytona and Fort Lauderdale are full of those kind of houses that I was just talking about. These things are serious. You wouldn't even believe the things. The part about people that have fetishes to hear the baby's ribs cracking while they're raping them. It is real. And no, you're not allowed to like hug each other or comfort each other when you're in those situations, because if you even so much as move or look at them with compassion, they're going to come at you and kill you or beat you. And you have to be like stone. You just have to be still. The things I will never be able to unsee, and the things I will never be able to not remember vividly. The sounds, the smells that have soul ties to them that cause me to have flashbacks. That's why I say to myself, that's why I'm not out there hanging out with people. I'm not sociable. I can handle going to my new little job. It's very painful. You know, it is rough to be on my feet. I wear my corset for the back brace, and I take, you know, my natural pain tea with me and stuff. And I can handle those things, and I can handle going to church or going to the store and communicating with people in public. But the 90% of my life is at home, because I can't. I just can't. I couldn't handle the ministry anymore. I couldn't even stand when I was a minister to minister to people privately, because knowing that the majority of them were absolutely fake. And especially those that were like very abusive and very crude and trying to use that as a way to cover up and look like the victim and playing the victim. I just couldn't do it. It takes a special person from the Lord to be able to sit and minister to people like that without getting angry, because I couldn't stand somebody fake that I could see right through. I've been through too much to not be able to see through people, and the discernment is so effervescent that it's like shards of glass. And I just can't do it. That's not who I am. I'm not made for that. And this is the first time in my life I've ever begun to heal. And you know, the psychological abuse is so bad. They torment you. You know, I've already been through enough with the, you know, private, isolated events of narcissistic abuse with my husband and my other ex, who is still in prison in Florida and will be, I think he's got another 10 years, because he finally got charged as a habitual violent offender for domestic violence from the female after me. And all the charges from me, finally it all caught up to him. Don't block people out when they tell you. Please share the post. Please say their names. Allie Carter. When you hear children get rescued and they give the names, please say their name. Don't let this go unnoticed. All these people that are hurting their children in their homes, the stories we're hearing finally coming out of, sadly, people killing their own little babies, hurting their children, selling their children for drugs. For God's sake, say their name out loud. Say their name. Give them a voice. Give them a voice. I'm going to have to stop here for now. Thank you guys for joining. I'm not really sure what to say. I'm twitching right now because it's just really, my whole amygdala is on fire right now. I don't know. I don't see any numbers, Stephen, except for, but thank you guys for joining. I'm going to go again later this week before the month is up, but I thank you, Winging It. I just wanted to make sure to share. I shouldn't be here right now. And I'm so blessed to have my children in my life. And Lily, my other children are adults. Thank you, Laura. I will go live again this week. I just kind of needed to get the first part out. And I wanted to make sure that I express my gratitude for Ali Carter's story. Please look her up if you don't know who she is. Please follow her. Please support her. Start giving them, yes. Thank you for hearing my voice today. Have a blessed day, you guys. Bye. Hi, honey.